frame? Sweet. I'm very short today. Hold on, let me lower that. Oscar Willis here for TheMacLife.com, joined by Mike Bohn for MMA Junkie and Jose Youngs at MMA Fighting. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing this big jacket, it's because my sweater is too short and my stomach shows when I move.
Shut up and sit down.
Mike, welcome to New York to watch your favorite fighter, Islam Makhachev, your brother. You're the best thing you've ever seen. What are your emotions heading into a big fight week for you?
What are the emotions? Yeah. The emotions are we just saw him weigh in, and I don't know. I see a lot of people being like the size difference. I didn't really think it was like significant or that he looked out of place. I thought, that's the big question coming into this week, and I don't know. I'm not too worried about that.
I definitely think, well, you wouldn't be worried anyway because you're unbiased, but I definitely think that like the whole face-off and stuff that they've been doing kind of hasn't amounted to anything because of like the clothing they've been wearing and stuff like that. But I actually felt, Jose, when you saw the two of them on the scales, in contrast, Jack did look a much more dense person.
For sure. Yeah.
Nicer pecs, wide V, looks great. Did enjoy Islam's underwear though. But for you, did you feel like the size difference had really played a factor into today? And what you saw?
I mean, it was more noticeable, like you said, just because all the face-offs, they're wearing so many layers here in New York, especially when we're on, like, famously real tall building. Apparently, Jack's not the biggest of heights that Mike found out. But yeah, for sure, like what you said, Islam just looks like a lightweight that kind of stopped cutting, obviously put on a little bit of weight. Jack looks like an actual welterweight.
Definitely, and even in the time they weighed in, right, Jack weighed in a lot later than Islam. Islam was one of the first people, and I think Jack had just come from the sauna. You could tell he was a little confused why he needed to take his shorts off. By the way, the heaviest shorts I've ever seen in my life. But so definitely I feel like that size factor is going to play a part of the fight. But to how much do you think it will, Mike?
I think it depends how long it goes, right? And we're going to find that out pretty quick. If Islam can't get him down consistently and hold him down and try to advance, either create damage or a submission, then this is going to be problematic. If Jack can, wear down the body with body shots, make him expend energy on takedowns, then it's going to be tricky.
Is there a world where like the extra weight that Islam has not had to lose can play a factor in worsening his cardio, right? Especially if he goes grapple heavy early.
Maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say. There's so many questions here. We haven't seen him try to do this at this weight class and how much more energy it's going to take to move Jack around in there. So I could see all of this is on the table for me. I don't think there's anything that we can rule out here.
As part of the spirit of what we're doing here, as us three are usually the people here on the ground at these UFC events, I'm kind of trying to basically just steal the MMA beat idea and talk about what it's like covering these events. And I think the real story of the media week has been you going viral for criticizing Jack's crooked nose again.
Wow.
How have the DMs been?
Not great, but that was from the last fight, as we know. And for the people out there that are being the haters, I made peace with Jack, made peace with his team. We talked about it directly after. He said we're Aussies, we don't give a shit. So you're more mad than he is. So chill out, everyone. And yes, not my best moment. Lesson learned. We move on.
I didn't think it was that bad. I enjoyed it.
But that's because you enjoy seeing us all get humiliated and shamed.
Yeah, that's true. Well, as also a man with another deviated septum, I can relate to Jack in many ways. For you, Jose, what's been the story of your week? What's been the story of being here in New York? For me, I've had a few different people reach out and say, not feeling the buzz. No. Do you feel like you're getting it?
It's a different buzz because like it was last year was crazy because it was John Jones and like Trump was there and everything. And then obviously I feel like when Izzy or Pereira fight, there's always kind of an energy around it, especially with Yuri. And then obviously DC headlined one, GSP, like those are Matt Connor. This one feels like a buzz for a little like in the media because there's a lot of Ecuadorian media here that really
some would say too many.
that really want to speak to Michael Morales at that press conference came off like a rock star because every question, even like if you watch Dana, he's like laughing because it's like Michael.
I actually couldn't believe it either.
It was very funny. And there's obviously a lot of like Russian audience here in New York. It's like the first press conference I can remember Islam got a big pop.
Well, it's a Muslim country, according to Dana.
According to Dana White, yes, and according to a lot of newspapers here too. But yes, different buzz, but it's not as palpable as years before.
Yeah, what's funny about the Morales thing, right? I don't want to like shit on our Ecuadorian colleagues here, but when Jack was momentarily a little heavy, I could hear them like, oh my God, what if Morales steps in. I was like, that's not going to happen.
And
lads.
apparently the Ecuadorian national team is playing a game in New Jersey this week too. So they're all here for that. So they're double dipping.
Which honestly though, if he goes out there and gets a fucking crazy finish, he could look like a superstar.
It's one of those things
arena,
like
right?
Dana's going to remember, this guy gets a lot of questions. People are interested in.
Yeah.
I feel the buzz.
You do?
I think I was
you fucking.
I don't know. I mean, to each their own, but no, that has nothing to do with it. This is great card, top to bottom on the main card, some great prelims. I don't know. Like for me, we cover these events so often, it's hard to get like that feeling, like almost like the butterfly feeling. Yes. I mean, again, it's doing this so often, it's very repetitive at times. So it doesn't do that for you. But this one, like Monday of fight week, I was like, I'm hyped for this.
I think it'll be like, because me and you sat next to each other cage side in Chicago. And when Hamza and Dricus finally entered the octagon, we were like, "Oh shit, this rules."
And then 3 minutes later, I was like, "This doesn't."
But
we saw the writing on the wall for the next half an hour.
It's gonna be like that. Like once they're in the cage, I'm like, "Oh, this is sick."
I think it's just one of those things where like the fights themselves are incredibly compelling, incredibly competitive, but there's no real narrative to them, right? Like obviously, so it's like. You don't need to watch their media day because they're not going to say anything of massive consequence about the fight. Do you know what I mean? We all know the storylines going into it. So I think maybe some of the pre-fight stuff has kind of lacked a little bit of luster. I also think, to your point about the other MSG cards we've had here, while I admit he's one of the biggest in the sport currently, I do think maybe we're seeing like Islam's star power in terms of what it can bring to a city. I mean, obviously the press conference was a crazy reaction, but I don't think he is comparable to the Johns, the DCs and things like that. And that's just, I think, probably the state of the sport right now. It's on a little bit of a lull. But should he go out there, win the second title, I think this is the fight, and I think Jack's very good, and I don't know that Islam can beat Jack necessarily, but this is the fight before the big ones, right? If Islam beats this guy, Ilya at welterweight, massive fight. Usman at welterweight, massive fight. Like this is the one before.
Well, and think about what the next one will be too. We talk about the Anderson Silva winning streak. He would be going to set himself apart with 17 in a row for that. So then, and if you, as I've said, leading up to this, I mean, we can talk about where he fits in the all-time greats. If he can defend the title, if he wins against a Sean Brady, a Michael Morales, any of these guys who are legit, like we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations about where he ranks all time.
Well, I think as well with the double champ stuff, right? And you guys will know this better than me because you guys care more. But like in terms of the double champs, we've never really had a guy carve a legacy at one division, then move up and carve a second legacy. Do you know what I mean? So it's usually been like dipping a toe in, get the belt, maybe defend once like DC and bounce. So if Islam, he said, oh, I want to defend it multiple times. If he goes up and defends the welterweight belt 3 or 4 times, at that point, it's pretty undeniable
100%
what you can do. And then, we can just badger him until he moves up to 185 and then gets knocked out. But other than that, talk about the Cobain. Feel like these women kind of going under the radar a little bit. Again, there may be a comment on what women's MMA is doing these days for that, because this is about as good as it gets. For me, for some reason, and I said this on Morning Combat, which I was on, you can go watch that, I feel like Zhang's going to win. I kind of feel like Zhang might win decisively because I just feel like Valentina is a little bit older. What about you?
Yeah, and I think it also plays like Valentina hasn't looked like the Valentina we knew in her last couple fights. Like she got choked out against Alexa Grasso, had that draw. The fight in the Sphere wasn't that great, and then the Manon fight. Like, can you remember anything that happened?
Literally, you wouldn't have been able to tell you they fought.
And then Wei Li on the other side has looked unbelievable, right?
Where was that? Montreal.
That was Montreal.
That was Montreal.
Come into Bilal and Jack.
Oh my God, full circle.
So it's just, but then like everyone thought Tatiana was like gonna. It was a future title.
Yeah,
and then
that was
Wei
very
Li
impressive.
goes in there and out wrestles Tatiana. I'm like, oh, she might just be the best fighter of all time.
That's why I've always thought Valentina's very strong, but I think Zhang's probably one of those freak pound for pound strong people, and I can imagine her like out-grapple. Like if Grasso had success there, I can see Zhang having great success there. So I'm kind of leaning towards Zhang. What about you? Your thoughts on that one?
I pick Valentina. I do think she's going to be able to manage the distance on the feet enough to land strikes. I was going to say create damage. I don't know how much damage there's going to be. I could see this, just being honest, like being a very slow and boring fight.
Zhang's a bit more aggressive.
She can, but if Valentina's able to keep her at the range she wants to fight at and able to stifle takedowns, like she's going to be very content point fighting her way to a 49-46 type of decision. Like that's just good. If Valentina wins, it's not going to be the most thrilling fight. If Wei Li wins, I could see her maybe finishing it. Like it's slightly more possible for her.
Just speaking on women at the moment, my favorite subject. Can we convince Joanna and Jacek to come back and fight Mackenzie Dern at this Q&A later?
You can ask her. We'll start with some media questions.
So, what
are you going to set it up? Being like, Joanna, you haven't fought for 5 years, but do you think the new champion's easy pickings? Is that what you're going for here?
Right. Yeah, no.
That's more disrespectful than my Jack knows question. Fucking hell.
Right. Well, I don't want this to go too long because people will get bored of us. So we'll wrap it up there. But look forward to these. I guess every pay-per-view we'll try and do some of this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always down.
Yeah.
Why not do more work?
It's good to be here, as you said, on the ground. We're the people who sit here and watch these fights from here on Media Row, I believe we're calling
that's
that.
what we're going to call this.
Yeah. Shout outs to Kamikaze.
I paid Abby $100 to make an intro. It was great.
Looks great.
Peace.
Peace out.